Hey y'all, welcome back to Mrs. Lone's Cooking. Today we're going to make cinnamon sugar loaf pan biscuits. And what you're going to need is you're going to need a can of flaky biscuits, whatever you want, doesn't matter. 1 stick of salted butter. You're going to need, I've got a cup, 1 cup of just regular granulated sugar. Then we're going to also need cinnamon in it as well. And then we're going to put icing over it afterwards, which is going to be your confectionery sugar, heavy cream, and vanilla. And there's a trick to this, and I'll show you that once we get to that part. Okay, the first thing I've done is I went ahead and melted my butter. I'm going to set this to the side for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my cinnamon into my cinnamon sugar. Now, if you have some of this left over, just eye it however much you like cinnamon. It doesn't have to be real thick. It's up to you, but it's up to your preference. So I'm going to mix this in here just like so. So we have cinnamon sugar. And then if you have some that's left over, you can also put it in a jar or an airtight container and use it for other things as well. So we're just going to get this done real quick. And I've also taken and turned my oven on 350 for the biscuits. So just bear with me. We got that done. Okay. Now we're going to open up our canned biscuits. Now I'm just using canned biscuits this time, but you can also do it with fresh biscuit dough as well. But this is a little bit quicker, so that's the reason I'm doing that. So bear with me while I get this open. Okay, so it's back here, and there we go. Now, first thing you're gonna do is take all your biscuits out, and what I've done is I've got a loaf pan, and I just put parchment paper in it. If you don't have parchment paper, that's fine. Just spray it down real well. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take 1 biscuit, and we are going to separate it the best we can. There we go. Just like so. And then once we get it separated, then we're going to put it in our butter mixture. And then once we put it into the butter mixture, we're going to go over here to our cinnamon sugar. Pat it down just like so. That way it sticks. Okay, and then we're just going to take it and we're going to lay it in our pan. And we're just going to repeat the process until we get every one of these coated. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me do this. Okay, I've got my biscuits coated with butter and the cinnamon sugar mixture. Now I'm going to tell you, when you do this, towards the end it's going to be kind of clumpy. So if it's not going on there even like you would want it to, just take the paste of the cinnamon sugar and just put it on the biscuit. Now with this pan, instead of doing 350 like I said, this is a thicker pan, but if you're using aluminum, then put it on 350. Other than that, put it on 325. So we're going to put this in the oven on 325 for right about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. And once we're through with that, we'll be right back. Okay, our biscuit with our cinnamon sugar just came out of the oven. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to set this over to the side while I make icing to go over the top of it. So let me just scoop this on over here without burning myself, because it's really hot. It just came out of the oven. Okay, now, first thing we're going to do is I have about a cup of just confectionery sugar or powdered sugar, whichever you want to call it. Now, there's a trick to this because you can do it with milk. And I've done it with milk, and it's still good. But if you use heavy cream versus your milk, then you won't taste the raw sugar like you would with just the milk in it. Okay, so I've got about a half a cup here, or excuse me, 1 cup of that. So, and I'm just going to take it, make a well in the middle. Then I'm going to take my heavy whipping cream. We're just going to eye this because you don't need a whole lot of it. So I'm going to put in maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of the heavy cream, like so, because like I said, we're making an icing with this. Okay, so we're just going to take, and if you need more, it depends on how thick you want it. That is just generally up to you, but I want one that I can possibly just kind of drizzle over the top, and that's what I'm going to do. So just add your cream a little bit at a time till you get the consistency that you want. You can have it thick or you can have it thin, but like I said, at this point, I'm going to do thin. And if you don't have heavy cream, you can use milk, but for some reason, when you do use the heavy cream versus the milk, you don't taste the powdered sugar raw, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it gives it a different flavor, and it's so, so good. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit more than what I thought, because like I said, we're just going to do it little by little. Oh yeah, that's looking good. So, and you just be slow and easy with it. And we will add our other ingredients once we get the powdered sugar mixed in with your heavy whipping cream. But if you don't have it, like I said, you can use regular whole milk. Okay, so let's get this all done, and it's coming together nicely. And then we're just going to drizzle it over the top of it. And see, it's like almost like a pale yellow is what it's going to be because of the heavy whipping cream. Okay, so we're just doing it like so. And we're going to stir this around because we need it to get kind of smooth. And when you do this, make sure your cream is cold. Make sure that is a big plus on that. So I always keep it in the refrigerator till I get ready to use it, and then I just pull it out right then and there. Okay, like I said, that's looking nice. You'll have a few lumps in it, but just try to get those out. So it just takes a few minutes. It's no big deal, but it's well worth it in making your own. And this is the same thing that you would buy if you bought the cinnamon rolls that are in the can. It's the same thing. Most of the time, everybody has these recipes or these ingredients in their home. And it's easier to make, and that way you can control how much icing you want on it versus what you don't want on it. So let me put this back in the refrigerator real quick. Okay. And you stay out of the icing. I'm not finished yet. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to take my vanilla, and this is pure vanilla. So, and I'm going to put maybe a tea to a tablespoon in it. That's all you're going to need. Okay, that's about a teaspoon of vanilla. And it's going to change the color of it a little bit, which is fine. But like, you've got to understand, this is not a commercial grade. This is literally a homemade grade of your icing. And it tastes so much better. And I'm fixing to let my camera guy over there, since he likes to sneak when I'm not looking, I'm going to let him taste it, and I want him to tell me if he wants a little bit more vanilla or if he wants just to leave it as it is. Okay?
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so that's it. Now, like I said, I'm going to move this over here, pull this back over here, the best way we can, because it's hot. It's super hot. That's okay. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, and you'll have some left over. And then once you pull them off, you can either do it on top of it or you can just do it individually. But like I said, we're just going to kind of put a little bit, and it's kind of thick, and that's what you want. You don't want a real super thin icing. So I'm just going to do globs of it, I guess you could say. Nobody said I was perfect at decorating, and I'm not. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be well worth it. And then I've got a lot left over, but once we pull it out, then we can add it to it later. So bear with me a second. I got to get another pan. Okay, this is what it's going to look like afterwards. You can put more frosting on it if you want, but you don't have to. That's up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take a piece of this. We're just going to pull it out just like so. Then I'm going to sit this over here. And then I'm going to drizzle just a little bit more of this over the top, just like so, or the best way I can. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fork and I'll spread it around a little bit. And then we're going to do a taste test. And I'm going to tell you if it's good or what my opinion is. So, oh my God. That is so good. If you like my video, please like and subscribe.